went to New Orleans for my bestie Deja's birthday, and we decided to go on a haunted tour. And we go to this one called Ghost Adventures. If you go to New Orleans, go to Ghost Adventures. So we're standing outside waiting for the bus to get there to pick us up. I said, you know, it'll be so crazy, like if we go to this cemetery and one of the tombstones says Bernard. Like it'd be so crazy, like yada yada yada. We go to the Oddfellas graveyard. We walk in, they give us these like little devices to ghost hunt. She's showing us different things. And she's talking about how she's going to show us one particular grave that like is held near and dear to her heart. Like she has a personal connection to it because he was also from New York. He moved, he came to New Orleans, fell in love, and that's now where he's buried. And so his name was Shield. She starts talking, and one of the questions that the people like to ask is like, when is the most recent person that was buried here? When it comes to Shields, she starts talking about, oh yeah, his most recent relative that was buried here is Bernard Shields. You guys, his name was Bernard, and this caught me so far off guard. I was like, the way that I gasped and I looked at Deja and I looked at our friend Tybriana, I said, yo, ain't no way. She makes it a point to point out this particular one. I said no. We're sitting in the room at this point because now we went home, we did like all the fun stuff, and so we're sitting in the room, the main room at the end of the creepy hall, and we're talking, and I said, you know, I found a picture of Bernard. I don't know if it's actually him, but I was like, oh, it's a white man. And then I was like, I said, you know, maybe he likes some black women. And they said this was back in the 1800s. No, he didn't. And I said, it was the 1800s. Maybe he couldn't say that he did. And I said, right, Bernard? We hear a click in the living room down the hall. I said, no, this is too real. I said, this is too real. I said, no. This house is crazy. The great thing is that I did not feel like there was any bad energy when it came to Mr. Bernard. I think the only time I got anxious was when we were walking down, I think it was French Quarter, and I went into a voodoo shop, and I did not know you was not supposed to record. And I did record, and it's just like, it was just it was a strange experience, and I was like, let me delete this before some bad happens.